Let's talk about Nvidia's numbers. Way better than the street was expecting. The stock up about 6% this morning. I know it was up even more than that overnight. What was the most important part that you heard here that made you think, okay, there's a little bit of a turnaround taking place?
Right. And I wouldn't even say that it's necessarily a turnaround, but for all semis, it appears that conditions aren't really getting worse right now. And remember, semiconductors have been seeing a slowdown, for a year.
Yeah.
And we downgraded the space almost a year ago when you started to see some of this weakness. And I guess it's a question right now is a lot of the macro stuff that we're seeing right now. I think the semis were telling you at least some of that, quite some time ago, and Nvidia specifically.
So you downgraded the sector a year ago. What do you think now? Is this the bottom? Would you be willing to say people should buy again?
Well, the way we're looking at it is we're trying to obviously take some of the macro questions off the table because that's something that's unpredictable, and we're looking for things that are have some product cycles for next year that we can count on. And Nvidia is actually one of them where, for example, in data center, which has been, the big hyperscalers, Google and Amazon, right. That's definitely slowed down this year. And that's not because cloud has slowed. It's because they spent so much money in 2018. Cloud spending was up 50% year on year in 2018. It's about flat now. So,
they built up and were ready for the capacity for the increased demand that came in.
That's right.
Time for another cycle of that.
And that's right, because cloud demand has been actually very good. NVIDIA is in a good position there because we expect a new product cycle for them. The product that they specifically sell for artificial intelligence, since the cloud is about 2.5 years old right now. So it's long in the tooth. So if you have a new product cycle with some mean reversion in spending, that could be pretty good for the stock.
The company's CFO on the conference call said that the sales for internal hyperscale, while that use was muted, engineering focus on AI is growing. So they could stand to benefit from that, too?
Yeah, and there's no question. Artificial intelligence is still a hot sector. NVIDIA, where they own the AI space is in training. So when you build these really complex models, they own that part of it. The next part of it, which they're trying to break into, and a lot of people try to break into, is called inferencing, which is running the models. And one of the points they made in the call yesterday is that that's becoming more difficult, a more difficult problem to solve. Because for things like an Amazon Alexa, when you're trying to use artificial intelligence for sort of conversational queries, it has to be really fast because you ask Alexa a question, you want to get it back right away. Whereas some of the stuff, if you're just kind of doing a web search, you can spend a little more time in latency.